I'm Phia, and this is Josh, and yeah, we play in the band, which is my name,
Do you
Phia.
ever think about me? I think about you. I remember that time in my life and I wonder, do you? Meeting in between glass, thinking all about us. Kissing in between glass, thinking all about us. I'm drowning.
If we weren't musicians, we wouldn't have come to Europe and had the opportunity to do all this, like touring and meeting new people and going to countries where it's so fun going to a new country as a musician because people look after you so well and you get this insight into, like, you're not a tourist, but you're you're seeing it with fresh eyes, and that's really fun. You know, there's the opportunity now to like connect, like there's this real grassroots network that the internet really helps with, and the fact that we can just, like, we just released our single ourselves independently last year and sent it out to blogs and got such a great interest, and that feels really great that we can just do that ourselves.
Yeah.
I mean, we had the experience of, we went back to Australia for 6 weeks and then came back into Berlin, and we were away, I feel, for long enough that it gave us time to reflect. And it was really nice coming back and then feeling like people were looking forward to our shows. Yeah, we've been here now for 2.5 years and our work is starting to pay off. So that was a nice feeling.
Yeah, it was cool.
We live in this quite small but cozy house. And so sometimes it's like, you know, we'll be gigging together and then we're having breakfast together and then we're like, oh, now we have to rehearse. And it's like, we're doing so much together. But then equally, it's so fun to like, let's make some coffee and then let's go into the lounge room and like record a demo or rehearse the song, and then I'll go for a run. And, you know, that's like so nice that we can do that together. Yeah. There is also, I do write, a lot of my songs are about Josh. So, but because they were written like a couple of years ago, I feel like there's enough distance from them and like it's not too weird.
I had the advantage of hearing Fia's music for, you know, 1.5 years or 2 years without playing, and even though it's all, you know, kalimba and beatboxing or tapping on the wood of the kalimba and her voice, I hear like the things that she is suggesting in the music.
It's sort of like a paradox, but the more personal you make your music, the more other people feel they can relate to it. And so that's something I've been thinking about a lot when we're making the album and when I'm trying to write new music. So often the first instinct is to like go, okay, what's something that relates to everyone? And often those songs end up being really watered down and way people don't relate to it even though you've tried. And whereas if you write something that you're like, oh, this is so personal and embarrassing, no one will ever, you know, no one else must have had this feeling, but then of course actually everyone else has. Do you find it embarrassing singing your song lyrics on stage?
Yeah, I guess there are certain songs that are sort of embarrassing, but then again, I don't know, I think maybe at this point in my songwriting I'm still hiding a little bit, so I don't get embarrassed because I'm perhaps not being as open as you are.
My writing is a bit diary. It's very diary focused. Speaking specifically about the album, what we've done is that I have written all the songs, and all the songs bar sort of one have been ones that I've been gigging for the last couple of years. So firstly, just by myself, and I came up with arrangements by myself. And then Josh has started playing in the band when he started producing, so in the last 6 to 12 months. And so then we've developed the arrangements, and now we're sort of, the arrangements are still actually, they're still being edited and honed, even though we've recorded now 85% of the raw material for the album.
I think there's kind of two processes.
Yeah.
One is like using the recorded material from that we've done at a proper studio and playing around with it at home and trying out different sounds maybe, or cutting up the overall structure, things like that, which can take all day.
Yeah.
Just playing around.
Josh will often, because Josh is sort of in charge of that side of things, so he'll often sit at the computer and then call me and say, have a listen to this, and I'll sit there for like 20 minutes talking about what you're doing.
Yeah.
And then I'll go out again and you'll spend another couple of hours.
Yeah.
That's sort of like, it's a there's consultation involved with Josh being like at the computer.
Yeah. And then there's the studio days where we might spend, 8 hours of, recording maybe the vocals first, and we spend quite a bit of time like choosing the microphone and with the engineer Johnny.
Yeah.
And
we're working at Tricone Studios, which is out in Köpenick. Yeah, it's at the old Funkhaus. Yeah. So it's a really beautiful sort of area, and we're working with an engineer, Johnny Zoom, who's another Australian, so I've got this Australian production team.
Yeah.
But that's been really fun, and actually like it's my first experience really being in the studio for like, we've done about 6 or 7 days, so I still feel I'm learning a lot about that process. And we really want to make a record that people just want to put on and listen to from start to finish. Like I've been thinking a lot about like both Fleet Foxes albums I love, and that's something that you want to put on start to finish. The Feist albums, Tune-Yard's albums, like, we're thinking without, being like directly influenced by it, but thinking about that experience and how we can create that for our listeners. I think that's what we've been trying to recreate, the energy of the loop show into without loops. There is a lot of looping on the record, which is just done on the computer, but how do we get that like exciting sort of like what's going to happen next that you get from the show? I get that from performing it. How do we get that without people seeing it? And that's been going really well.
We're bringing Phia to your living room or iPod or computer. And maybe I should put my amp over here so it's...
then it was the up. Yeah, okay.
We use this.
Yeah, well, it's got a working title at the moment of If Not You, and it's one of the only 2 songs on the record that I'm not really playing much kalimba on. It's mainly a guitar. There's a lot of guitar in it, which I actually wrote myself, but then realised that I couldn't actually really play it well enough to put it on the record. So Josh has learnt the guitar part and then taken it somewhere else. And I wrote the song, when one of my like best friends from childhood, like in the sense that we used to say we were best friends before we were born because our mothers were pregnant together. And anyway, she got married last year, and so doing the whole poor musician thing, I was trying to think what I could give her as a present, and then this song sort of started writing itself, and so I performed it for her, and then I realised that I really liked the song, so we have decided to put it on the album.
Just choose it. If not you, then And then we grew a little older. Well, things change, a rolling boulder gathers no moss, and things go on and on. But the lessons your friends teach you, they stay with you, they never leave you. They're part of who you are and will be. And if not you, then who will live the life you want? It's yours, just prove it. If not you, then who will do it? As the world becomes connected, we become less tethered to one place, and so we travel far and wide. And the logical conclusion is, despite the incongruent geographical differences, people fall, they fall in love.